Sure. All the collegiate races are sprint races, so the shortest kind of traditional distance. And then one of the major differences is they're draft legal on the bike. So most triathlons, if you're in an Ironman, if you're in a half Ironman or an Olympic distance, in an open triathlon, they're not draft legal. You're not allowed to use each other on the bike. So that's one of the major differences. And then the biggest difference is it's now more of a team sport. It's scored similar to cross country. We score our top 3 individuals, where cross country I think is top 5. But it's really transitioned from being a true individual sport for nearly everybody to now a team sport, which is really a cool thing.
And then talk about this weekend, just to kind of give us a preview of this weekend coming up with the regional meet.
Yeah, sure. So it's our first true NCAA competition. Our first race was 2 weeks ago. It was an open race in Morrison, Colorado. We took our top 5 from that race, and we're taking them to this regional. What this serves as is a qualifier for the national championships, which is in Tempe in the beginning of November. So we currently we're the 14th women's team in the NCAA as it's an emerging sport. So just by participating in this regional, we'll earn our spot at nationals. Moving forward, as there are more teams that become NCAA teams, the qualification will become tougher. You'll have to actually qualify as individuals and as a team for nationals. This year, just going there, competing, taking 5 women, we'll earn our spot at nationals. So, but again, it's our first true NCAA competition. It's not an open race. Everyone that's in the women's wave is collegiate, whether it be NCAA teams from Arizona State or North Central in Illinois. Those are true collegiate NCAA teams, and we also have some collegiate club teams that will be participating.
Questions?
The difference between the open race and the NCAA competition, are there any differences you can anticipate going into this one besides competition level and regulations?
Yeah, it is competition level. There are a few differences in the equipment you're allowed to use on the bike, especially. And then again, it's that draft legal aspect that really changes the game. If you're a good swimmer, you can get out of the water with the lead pack on the bike. If you know how to ride in a group and you know how to draft on the bike, then it comes down to getting off the bike with everybody, and then it's who can be the best runner. So it's different in that regard, and so it's something that our group is learning. We have some rookies to triathlon this year, and some experienced kids, but this is going to be all of their first competitions as NCAA triathletes.
What are some of the things you hope to see, especially since this is like the first NCAA?
Yeah. It's a learning process. You know, each race is going to be a learning process for our group, and how they know how to pace themselves, and hopefully in training throughout what's been the first 6 weeks of training, they learn more and more about their bodies and how to race those distances. And then again, this is going to be the first time we're scored as a team, so it'll be fun to see how we shake out against some of the other teams.
Hannah, you're in Little Foot, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah.
What all did the athletes learn from a true running in a triathlon?
Doing a real triathlon, you kind of experience how to pace all 3 sports. It's interesting because usually we all compete in just one sport, and it's hard to do a sprint triathlon, which is shorter distances, but it's back-to-back. So I think we all learned how to pace ourselves between each sport so we can finish strong and not die in one of the first 2 sports. But
What do you consider your strength, and what do you need to work on before 2 days from
In the
now?
next 48 hours.
I've been a collegiate swimmer. I swam under Geoff, so I say swimming is one of my strengths. And biking, I definitely need to work on. I'm not super comfortable drafting off of people. I am not in super control of my bike, so it's just nervous to be super close to somebody. But yeah.
You just get off and run as fast as you
Yeah. The running's nice because you don't have to worry about anybody else. It's just as fast as you can go, just get to the finish line. So it's nice getting to the run because you don't have to think about anything else. You're just as fast as you can to the finish line. You don't have to worry about transitions anymore, or drafting off of people on the bike, or getting a good lead on the swim to get in a good bike group. So the run is the easiest part mentally for me. I think it's the physically most taxing just because it's the last part after the swim and bike, and your body's not really used to doing 2 sports and then running as fast as you can in a 5K, but it's definitely the easiest mentally because you just have to get to the finish line.
The transitions I know are crucial. I mean, you can pick up some time, you can lose a lot of
Yes.
time if, you know, you can't get your running shoe on or
Yes.
trying to get from swimming to the bike. Is that the toughest transition?
Yeah, personally, the swimming to the bike is the hardest just because you're wet and things stick, and it's the start of the race, you're still kind of panicking and have a lot of anxiety. But once I get onto the bike, then it's just the bike to the run transition is just throwing your shoes off and putting on your running shoes and just going for the run. But the swim to the bike is definitely hard because during the swim the entire time you're like, okay, just put my helmet on and put my bike shoes on and then you're good. So every time I'm just going through my head what I have to do in the transition just because I'm not super comfortable with transitions yet.
You're just gonna have to get clothes on, right? You're swimming in the spandex pretty much
Yes.
anyway?
In Berkeley we'll be wearing wetsuits, so I'm a little nervous just about getting the wetsuit off because you have to do it while you're running. But usually in nationals and the open ones in Littlefoots and Nevada, we don't have to worry about the wetsuit. So you're just swimming in your tri-suit, biking in your tri-suit, and running in your tri-suit. So you don't have to change.
Geoff, what do the guys have to do to qualify? I know there's a few more
Yeah.
ones, obviously.
Yeah, there are the men's side. The national championships is held at the same time. It's more of an age group national championship, so there isn't necessarily a cutoff for qualifying. It's more of an open race as well. The qualifying really is more toward the NCAA side, and like I said, right now it's just a matter of fielding a team at one of the 3 regionals. This is the 3rd one of the year to qualify for that.
Obviously, yeah, there were some good results from the first triathlon. Kind of, obviously, you got to be happy with how they performed.
Yeah.
Just for the first time out of the chute.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for a handful of them, it was the first one they had ever done. For a lot of them, they had done others in different distances, different races, obviously. But each one of our athletes has a strength, whether they're a former collegiate swimmer or a runner or have been on the cycling team here at CMU. They each have a strength, so I tell them to play to their strengths and let's continue to work on your weaknesses in training. That's where we make those gains. And so we practice the transitions. We practice, the one thing we don't do is do full triathlon in training. We practice bike to run, we practice swimming, we practice, each thing on its own. So it comes down to putting it all together on race day, and that's where that experience comes in, where hopefully by the time we get to nationals, it's our 4th race of the season, and we're the most finely tuned at that point.
And have you done a triathlon before that, or?
I've done triathlons in middle school, so I had a little experience, but not in the sprint triathlon. I've just done like it's like 200-yard swims, 5-mile bike, and a mile run. So it was nothing compared to what I've been doing now. But I did one the past summer just to get myself prepared for the collegiate season.
What's it like being on a team at the collegiate level where so many people are new to newer to triathlon?
It's an interesting team dynamic just because I don't think any of us have a super big background in triathlon, but every single person is really experienced in one sport. So we have cyclists, we have cross country, we have swimming. So it's so nice because I think our teammates have helped each other so much through this process, because as a weak cyclist, I have a couple of my teammates just helping me like get on the bike the best as possible and learning how to really master that side of it. So I think it's really nice that we have so many athletes from so many different backgrounds.
What does it mean to be on a team? It's like inaugural first kind of season.
It's really cool just because not only are we building the program for CMU, but we're part of it nationally. We are like building the platform for NCAA triathlon throughout the country. And so it's just really cool to be a part of that.
And I'll give these guys all credit. We've had this last weekend had 4 high school seniors in on official visits, and we've got a couple more coming in a couple weeks. We've gotten one commitment so far, which is as far as that's all I can say about that. But these are women who've competed at the junior elite circuit and competed at high school nationals, things like that. So these guys are laying the foundation and really, improving throughout the season and really helping to build from this first season.
Anything else?